All right, let's get right into it. Think about it. From the emojis you send to the video calls you're on all day, technology has completely rewired the way we connect with each other. So today, we're going to explore the tools, the strategies, and maybe some of the unwritten rules for how to communicate in this wild, hyper-connected world of ours. And really, it all comes down to this one huge question, doesn't it? Has all this tech actually helped us, or has it kind of hurt the way we communicate? I mean, yeah, we can talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime. But are we really saying what we mean? Are we connecting better? That's what we're going to unpack. And that brings us right to our first big idea, what I like to call the communication paradox. It seems like for every single advantage technology gives us, it throws a new curveball, a new challenge right back at us. Just look at the trade-offs. On the one hand, it is absolutely incredible. Communication is instant, it's convenient, and we can connect with people on the other side of the planet. But, you know the feeling, it can be super impersonal. Your sarcasm in a text completely falls flat, and we are all just drowning in this constant sea of notifications, what experts call information overload. You know, a perfect, and I mean perfect, example of this whole paradox is texting. Seriously, few things have shaken up our daily language more, and the debate over whether it's good or bad, oh, it is fierce. So on one side, you have the critics. They're really worried that texting is just wrecking our formal language skills. The argument, coming from researchers like Dan C., is that using shortcuts like for you, or great for great, creates these bad habits that start bleeding into school papers and professional emails. But okay, here is where this gets really interesting. A linguist named David Crystal actually decided to research this, and what he found was, well, pretty surprising. In your average, everyday text message, fewer than 10% of the words are actually abbreviated. So, what does that do to the whole debate? Well, according to Crystal, the whole fear is kind of overblown. He makes some great points. First off, shortening words is nothing new. We've been doing it for ages. Second, adults actually do it just as much as kids. He also found that students are smart enough to know not to use text speak in their homework. But his best point, you actually have to know how to spell a word to be able to shorten it correctly. He even argues that texting makes us more literate just because it gets us reading and writing more often. All right, so let's zoom out for a second. Let's move beyond just our phones and computers, because real communication is so much bigger than just typing or talking. We're going to look at the whole ecosystem of how we get our ideas across using something that professionals call communication aids. And I love this definition because it is just so simple and so broad. A communication aid is literally anything at all, that helps a person get their point across more effectively. We're talking about everything from a simple pen to a picture, all the way to some super sophisticated software. Now, when you hear a term like communication aid, your mind probably jumps to, specialized medical equipment for people with communication disorders. But is that the whole picture? Not even close. The reality is, you use them. I use them. We all use them constantly, every single day. And most of the time, we don't even think twice about it. And there's a formal term for this whole world. It's called augmentative and alternative communication, or AAC for short. This covers all the ways we share ideas without talking. So when you gesture with your hands while telling a story, or you make a facial expression, or you just scribble a quick sticky note for a coworker, yep, you are using a form of AAC. Okay, so if we're all using these things, it probably makes sense to get them organized, right? Turns out there's a whole spectrum of these tools, and they range from the incredibly simple to the mind-blowingly complex. So the first way we can slice this is by breaking it down into two main types. First, you've got unaided systems. These just rely on your own body. We're talking gestures, body language, sign language. And then you have aided systems, and these require some kind of external tool, whether it's as simple as a pen or as powerful as a computer. Now we can break down those aided systems even more by their tech level. It starts at the bottom with no tech. That's just your body, what we just talked about. Then you move up to low tech, things like a laminated board with pictures or letters on it. Mid-tech starts to bring in simple electronics, maybe a voice recorder or a button that says a pre-recorded phrase. And then you get to high tech. And this is where you find things like speech-generating apps on a tablet, or even these amazing systems that can be controlled with just your eyes. It's a really cool progression. But listen, having the fanciest tool in the world doesn't mean a thing if you don't have a strategy. The tool is only ever half the battle. To be a truly great communicator, you need a plan for your message before you even think about hitting send. And a really solid plan answers these 5 questions. Number 1, what's your goal? What are you trying to achieve? 2, who's your audience? Who are you actually talking to? 3, what's the core content, the main takeaway? 4, what's the right channel? Is this an email, a meeting, a text? And finally, who is the owner? Who's the one responsible for making sure the message gets out? Seriously, running through this simple checklist can make a huge difference. So let's bring all this home and talk about presenting your ideas to other people. We've covered digital tools, we've covered physical aids, but we often forget about the most powerful, the most influential communication tool we will ever have, ourselves. And that starts with how you support your message. If you're using slides, for example, remember this pro tip from Paul Edwards. They are just there to support you, not to be the main event. He has a great rule of thumb. Never more than 6 lines of text on a slide. And your bullet points? Just a few keywords, 2 to 6 words, tops. That way, the slides aren't a script, they're a signpost, and all the focus stays right where it belongs, on you. And this idea extends to your body and your voice. Look at your audience, make real eye contact. Don't just stare down at your laptop screen. When you move, move with a purpose. Don't just pace back and forth nervously. And please, vary the pitch and tone of your voice. Nobody wants to listen to a flat monotone. These seem like small things, but trust me, they make a massive difference in how your message is received. Because ultimately, it all comes down to this single, powerful idea. The slides, the tech, all the tools, they are all secondary. You are the main event. You are your own best visual aid. Your energy, your presence, and your delivery, that's what's going to make your message stick. So, as we wrap things up here, I want you to think about your own communication toolkit. Everything from the way you write a text, to the way you stand when you present an idea, to the simple gestures you use without even thinking. After everything we've talked about today, what's the one tool or the one strategy that you are going to focus on mastering next?